All right, what's up, everybody? Look, I just saw a pretty cool chart that was posted on Twitter that I think kind of explains how I'm feeling about where we are in the cycle right now pretty well. So I wanted to just share that with you and just kind of share some thoughts about what I'm thinking right now, if that makes sense. And so, of course, we're going to get into that today. Now, of course, I know the setting looks a little bit different. We are out here in Dubai, going to Token 2049 for a couple of days. Me and a bunch of other influencers are here. So, of course, shout out to Marjex for making that happen. We always appreciate you. But with that in mind, of course, let's pull up this chart here and let's talk a little bit about exactly what it says, what it means, and what we can kind of decipher from it. Now, looking at this thing, what we can see here is that it's kind of a depiction posted by our friend over at Rex Capital. Go make sure you go follow him. He posts some really good charts. And what he talks about is kind of the different phases of the cycle leading up and after the halving. And what he does is he uses 2020 as a pretty strong example of what those different microcycles can look like to make up the macro cycle. Now, there's kind of four stages, right? They have the pre-halving rally, the last pre-halving retrace, the reaccumulation, and then the post-halving parabolic upside. And you can kind of see how that played out back here in 2020 and 2021. What you can see here is you had the pre-halving rally. Of course, they had like a little bit of a pullback. The pre-halving rally. They had the last pre-halving retrace, which was a little pullback. The reaccumulation zone, which is the red box, and then the green box, which is kind of the overall parabolic move following the halving, right? And what you can see is that we're actually making very similar steps at this given point. Now, let me actually just zoom in just a little bit more so you can see what this looks like, okay? So here we go. So what you can see here is we had, of course, the blue box, the pre-halving rally, which we've been in, going pretty consistently here. We have the last pre-halving retrace, which is, again, what we're also in. And now we're starting to enter into the reaccumulation zone that typically happens going into, throughout, and maybe even a little bit after the halving. You know, it's very interesting to see what happens all of the times because people still, although this market has progressed a ton, people still don't recognize that we see a pretty consistent flow in which it's like, okay, we know some big news is coming or a big event's going to happen. We know there's going to be a rally leading up to it. We know once that event happens, there might be that blast parabolic run. We're going to see the pullback, the accumulation, the retracement, like right, that little consolidationary moment, and then we're going to continue upwards. And for some reason, people still always go long. They still always use crazy leverage at the top around the event itself and almost always get wrecked. And that's kind of what Rex Capital is expecting here as well. But so what we can expect here, you know, and kind of what this says to us, where we are at this point, is that now that we have seen this pullback, we have seen this retracement, it's very likely that we will go into some type of little sideways-esque consolidationary zone. And he agrees with me in the sense that I do believe that where we're going right now is a beautiful time to start accumulating, start adding to those bags. We're finally getting a cool down. We're finally seeing the bulls have to reset a little bit. And these are those moments in the macro bull market in which are some of the best to be buying because generally speaking, we don't get these moments of cool downs that much. And you know, the time in between those cool downs can be huge. Look back to 2021, right? We got these huge rallies for weeks before we get these like 2-3 weeks of pullbacks, then a huge rally for weeks, and then that's the end of the market, right? You don't generally get these moments within the bull market where you can accumulate and you can buy in some of these times where people are nervous and scared or whatever it may be. And so taking advantage of that is extremely important. And so I wanted to kind of just share this chart with you because although we have talked about this somewhat fundamental like ideology about the market before on the channel, this was a pretty cool visual representation that I thought would kind of be a good reflection of my thoughts. And of course, I think you guys would agree with that. And so with that in mind, the whole general point of this video is just give again another example of why I believe it is time that we do start to enter into an accumulation phase. We start adding to our bags. We start looking to pick up more cryptos as they do maybe consolidate or go sideways or go down or whatever it may be. Because realistically, as his chart does show, if it looks like anything like 2021, 2020, you know, 2020, 2021, 2016, 2017, we may not have many more of these left before we see that crazy parabolic rip to the upside that does ultimately leave a lot of people in the dust, causing a lot of max pain. And so with that in mind, of course, I just wanted to share that with you. Of course, we do have our typical program videos coming soon here, so make sure you guys do stay tuned for that, and I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.